Uh, I'm not feeling it. Ugh. Are you tired of mushy old hummus? Would you rather have something nice and crunchy and nut-like, but not a nut in your mouth? Well, then you've come to the right place. For today's cookbook is Garbanzos, also known as chickpeas, by S&W. This recipe book, although very rare, the recipe is not. It can be found on any can, just about right now, of S&W's garbanzo beans. So rummage around your cupboards and see if you got some of these hanging out. Also known as chickpeas, right? And these are pretty healthy for you. They're 7 grams protein, 6 grams of fiber, low fat, and that's just reading from the can. American Heart, great. Anyways, got a recipe here. I'm going to try it out. This recipe has starts with 2 cans of the S&W garbanzos, right? So 2 cans. Got them right here. And what I did was I emptied them and rinsed them out and got them over here on a paper towel for drying. Likewise, inspect them. Make sure there's nothing funny in there. Look for anything that might cause alarm. Look for something like, you know, little skin things hanging off, maybe. Like so. Alright. I guess you could leave them in, but I'm not. Alright, so these garbanzo beans have been drying here for a while. And next what we're going to do is come back over to the bowl. And inside the bowl, what we'll be adding here is, we'll start off with 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Or, if you have an olive oil type olive oil, you can use that. Don't use mortar oil. So do 2 of these here, tablespoons. Ish. 1. And 2. Get that all drained off there. And then, what I'll be mixing in with this is my kind of version, or my kind of method for this. The can's a little bit different, but this should work. So, what we mix it into that, get back to my recipe, is we got here spices. So, we have here some half a teaspoon of garlic powder, right there. 1.5 teaspoons of paprika, right there. 1.5 teaspoons of ground cumin, and 2 teaspoons of sugar, right here. It's really there if you can't see it. Also, half a teaspoon of salt. I left the salt out because I think I get enough salt in my life. So, this right here is going to go in to your oil mixture and gives it some mixing stirs. I got a whisk here I'm working on. Get all that stuff coated. Right, like so. And now this mixture here, I'm doing it just basically like the recipe says, except for taking out the salt. But if you want to do this, you can add other stuff. You can add, you know, maybe some chili powder flakes, black pepper, white pepper, ground pepper. Well, it's all ground. Anyways, you can add different things to it. Onion salt. I don't know. Then we want to add back in the garbanzo beans and coat them. Alright, so I got those added in, and get this little mixing here. Dig to the bottom, stir to the top, rotate the bowl, sing a happy coating song. Whatever it takes to get these things nice and coated with that mixture. I believe the recipe has you olive oil on it and then sprinkle on the topping, but I always found this is an easier way to get stuff coated good. For other roasting methods. Alright. This is looking pretty favorable. Oh, and there's a little extra coating to it, so I'll keep stirring it. Now it's looking even better. Get that guy out of there. You want to preheat your oven to check the recipe book here to make sure. 350 degrees. And what I did, they say here line a baking pan with parchment paper. They do a 10 by 15. I think that's what I got. And I also have one with a little bit of edges to it. Well, actually, high edges. Just so I don't want these things rolling out into the oven or anywhere else. Alright, got that good. So, over here, we got our baking pan sheet thinger. I don't know if it's 10 by 15, but it should be good enough for this recipe. And parchment paper, and we'll just put this right in here. Like so. A lot of mixing still on the bottom, so I'll just scoop more in. Mix up like so, pour them out, scoop another batch in, get more of that action going. Smells delicious. Alright, get that out there, get this here, moved around in the pan. You want basically a layer. And in the oven it will go at 350 for 40 to 50 minutes or until golden brown. What I'm going to do also, what you want to do, is stir it. They said twice. So I'm going to go ahead and pop it in for 15 minutes. Bring it out, give it a stir, and then I'll pop it back in for another 20 minutes or so. We'll see how it is. This is the second time doing this now. I did it once before. Open the oven, pull out the pan, you get a grip on it, make sure you got a glove on. Alright, looks something like this here right now. Just take my spoon, kind of move the troops around here, so to say. And right about, you give them some like that, give them some shakedown. Try to get that single layer again. Right. And they're looking pretty good so far. Second time. So I had them there for 15, and I have them for 20. So that's 35. So now I'll add them for another 10. Do 45 on this. Right. Back in the oven they go. Alright, so here's the, I'm assuming, finished product. Just take a little sample here. It's still warm, and right. So at this stage, they have like like basically like kind of like not real tough, but like a little skin on the outside, soft on the inside, almost like maybe if you were biting like a cherry tomato. That's probably the best way, or maybe a grape. You have a grape skin, and has a mild flavor actually. It's not too bad, Now I'm going to wait for these to cool down a little bit more, and probably put them in a bag. So after they've cooled completely, put them in an airtight, Ziploc bag, whatever. It should keep okay for that, but maybe they need a little more time in the oven. I worried about, because I did go up to probably about 45, and then I took them out, tried them, and I was like, and I turned the heat off and I put it back in the oven. So that's hard for me to calculate out how much more it really had at that temperature. Waited for the oven to cool down some, took them out, and now I'm going to let them cool on the counter here. And I will try them again after they are cooled. Alright, so I put them in a little bag here, they've cooled down. I tried them again and they're still not crispy. But if I refer to my little recipe book here on Garbanzos, it does say golden brown and crispy. So maybe perhaps my oven needs adjustment. maybe it didn't bake long enough. I think I will try this again eventually. Maybe I'll just do maybe a can at a time. I'm going to do 2 cans. This isn't too bad. But I might try some different, herbs and spice mix with it. And now I know that I need to go at least probably 50 minutes at 350 in this particular oven. Maybe even more. But it does seem like the more that they roasted down, the smaller they got. So maybe these chickpeas turn to be about the size of a normal pea. Who knows? Yeah, it's not too bad. I think I'll snack on this, and I'll probably be gone in a couple days. So, flavor-wise, yeah, it's more maybe bolder. Bold flavors to it. So, it is kind of dry too. So make sure you have some water with you. Otherwise, though, it's so bad. I'm sure it's going to last just fine on the shelf, on the counter for at least maybe a week. Like I said, the less moisture, the longer it'll last, type of thing. But, yeah. So, this here is rare. No one will ever get their hands on this. But, this recipe, like I said, you can find it on the back of cans of Garbanzo beans, the S&W brand. So, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And if you'd like to see me do some kind of a recipe thing or a cookbook review in the future, maybe leave that down below as a suggestion. Otherwise, thanks for watching.